The hills are alive with the sound of screaming engines. Hi, and thanks for joining us for the 5th round of the Missed Apex Formula 3 Challenge as we travel to one of the most demanding of all Formula 1 circuits, the Red Bull Ring. From mind-bending elevation changes and punishing high-speed corners to the absolutely brutal curbing, the drivers will have no room for error on the unforgiving course as the championship boils over. Ticket is underway today. Please give a big welcome to your commentators, Ellen Ellard and
thanks for joining us for the 5th round of the Missed Apex Formula 3 Challenge as we travel to one of the most demanding of all Formula 1 circuits, the Red Bull Ring. From mind-bending elevation changes and punishing high-speed corners to the absolutely brutal curbing, the drivers will have no room for error on the unforgiving course as the championship boils over. Ticket is underway today. Please give a big welcome to your commentators, Ellen Ellard and
thanks for joining us
Chris.
for The hills are alive with the sound of screaming engines. Hi, and thanks for joining us for the 5th round of the Missed Apex Formula 3 Challenge as we travel to one of the most demanding of all Formula 1 circuits, the Red Bull Ring. From mind-bending elevation changes and punishing high-speed corners to the absolutely brutal curbing, the drivers will have no room for error on the unforgiving course as the championship boils over. Ticket is underway today. Please give a big welcome to your commentators, Ellen Ellard and Chris Stevens.
The hills are alive with the sound of horsepower. Welcome to Spielberg and the Red Bull Ring for the 5th round of the Missed Apex iRacing F3 Cup. Apologies for the slight technical errors we had at the start of that stream, but I think we're all good to go now, where we are going to be having another fantastic night of racing. Fingers crossed. We have got 3 13-lap races in store for you ahead of the finale coming up in a few weeks' time to this inaugural F3 season. My name is Chris Stevens. I'll be your lead commentator this evening. Joining me tonight is Ellen Ellard. Ellen, welcome back to the commentary box. Oh, apologies. We seem to have lost Ellen for a little bit there. Hopefully she'll be back soon. But in the meantime, let me run you through tonight's program. We are currently in the final 20 minutes of free practice before we go into the qualifying session, 10-minute session to determine pole position for that one. And unlike in iRacing officials, if you're an iRacer yourself, it is not 2 laps on your own. It is a 10-minute open session where we're going to have, I think, about 40 plus cars taking to this rather short track, and we could well be seeing some slipstreaming gamesmanship going on there, not unlike to the what we saw in the actual F3 race just a couple of weeks ago. And then of course into the 3 races. The first race, the feature race, determined by qualifying, that's worth 60 points, and then 2 top 20 reverse grid races, which are worth 50 points for a race win. If you are just joining us for the first time in the Missed Apex iRacing F3 Cup, you have missed a plethora of action in the first 4 rounds, but don't worry, here's a little VT to get you up to speed. Missed Apex Motorsport returned to action with the brand new iRacing F3 Cup, welcoming the new F3 car with a bumper 55 car field for some explosive action during the opening round at Spa. Danny Henny's title defense got off to a poor start after making contact with Brad Philpott on the opening lap. Then, they made contact! And Philpott, no! And Hatton is on the outside towards Lecon. We've seen people been able to make that move work, and Hatton make it work. He breaks deep and goes around the outside and claims the lead. The pair spun in unison at the final corner. He has got the line. Is he just going to shove Hatton out? They both spin! Allowing Kyle Power to take the spoils as the first victor of the new series. Alexander Douglasberger was untouchable in the first of the 2 reverse grid sprint races after taking the lead early on. And he is about to take his first victory in the Formula 3 Cup. Henny got one last shot at victory in the 3rd race of the night. Henny is right there. Henny spun though! Henny spun out of 2nd place. Williams wins. Tim Ellis took his first podium of the season in race 3, and combined with his 7th and 4th place finishes in races 1 and 2, put him at the head of the championship. Henny struck back in the first race at the Nürburgring, taking a commanding win to start clawing back the gap to Ellis. Dorian Tabachnik delivered on his promising pace to take the win in race 2 on his Missed Apex Motorsport debut. Dorian Tabachnik, Dory as you know him on YouTube, and he takes the win in his first race in the Formula 3. Alex Joelsma had threatened winning pace during practice, and it finally came together for him in race 3 to take his maiden victory. Around the final corner, and Alex Joelsma is an iRacing F3 Cup race winner. What a display! Henny took another dominant feature race victory in Barcelona to become the first repeat winner of the season. The reigning Formula Renault Challenge champion didn't have an entirely smooth night, however, as he was caught up in an incident at the start of the first reverse grid race.
Dobbelsberger got in a crash, and that's taken out Henny as well, so two big rivals there out in the first lap.
Ismael Basso fought his way through to take the win in race 2, despite a final corner spin. What?
He dropped it at the hairpin. He's managed to get it going again.
Hatton took advantage of a reverse grid pole to convert it into his first victory of the season. Unless we get anything wrong in these final couple of corners, it's going to be David Hatton who claims his first victory of the season. And that does not sound quite right, but believe me, it's true. The series returned to its most popular venue at Silverstone for the 4th round of the championship, where Henny not only claimed yet another feature race win, but also stormed through the order in the reverse grid race to make it 2 in a row. But here comes Danny Henny meanwhile, across the line, 2 race victories in a row! A mistake in race 3 meant he was unable to convert it into a triple, leaving Tim Ellis out in front to take his first win of the season, despite having led the championship since the first round at Spa. Ellis comes through the final corner. It's going to be a first victory of the season for the championship leader. With drop scores now taken into account ahead of the penultimate round of the championship, Henny leads Ellis by 38 points. Alexander Dobbelsberger and Kyle Power move up to 3rd and 4th in the standings respectively, ahead of the inaugural Formula Renault Challenge champion David Hatton. Just 1 point separates Basso and Joelsma at the head of the gold driver standings, while Lukas Raskowitz extended his lead in the silver standings. What an opening season we have had with this F3 car, and that 38-point lead for Danny Henny may look quite convincing at the moment, but with 2 rounds still to run, that's 320 points still on offer. So don't count out anyone just yet. This magnificent circuit that we are racing on tonight is a new addition to iRacing, the latest in their incredible range of tracks available. Currently we have Luca Harrison fastest in this practice session on a 1 minute 23.4, just 44 thousandths of a second ahead of championship leader Danny Henny. Now Henny has texted me to say that Harrison apparently went wide on that fastest lap, and that it was outside the bounds of track limits. Now in a practice session it still counts towards the standings. It will not in qualifying, but Henny very keen to run to teacher there and tell on Luca, but there'll be no hiding from it in qualifying, that's for sure. And don't forget that if you get 16 X's in one of the races, you will get a drive-through penalty, and we could well be at risk of that here more than anywhere else, because pretty much every corner is a potential track limits violation. Speaking of this circuit, Spanners took a trip around this beautiful mountainous circuit to guide you around.
Hey guys, Spanners here. I'm going to take you round a hottish lap of the Red Bull Ring in Spielberg. I say hottish because it has been so hard for me to get a consistent lap here. Looking at race pace and looking at the relative box in the practice races, I feel like I can make a bit of progress up the field. But as far as hot laps are concerned, it really is hit and miss. So I'll do my best to take you around what I describe as a beautiful nightmare in iRacing, because the flowing circuit is so much fun to drive, but so impossible to get consistently right as we cross the start-finish line. Okay, so we head up towards turn 1. We brake a little bit early here, and we need to be on the power before the apex and make sure that back end kicks out to get the most out of that turn. You'd think with the uphill you brake as late as possible to take advantage, but we actually want to make sure that we're sacrificing entry for exit. So let's head up the hill now again to turn 2. It feels like you're braking forever. We're braking all the way down to that yellow inside apex curbing, and then it unsettles on the exit, but you can use that sausage curb as a kind of guide to go, yeah, you've gone too far, and the sausage curb ushers you back in. Turn 3, turn 4 in F1, you brake downhill, but there's an extra little bit of downhill as you get to the apex, so you have to account for that, and you definitely don't want to get dragged onto the gravel on the outside of turn 4. A lot of drivers here will over slow going into turn 5. You just got to drag those brakes and control it, then get back out, but not too far here. You need to stay on the red and white curb. Now here, red and white curbing, get back on the power and use all the green here on the right-hander. And now it's these nightmare final 2 turns, nearly impossible to get correct, but we're just going to drag the brakes, nowhere near maximum brakes. And we're going to make sure we go all the way out, use all the green. I said all the green, then all the green again into turn 9. Absolutely impossible to nail. I think it will be consistency and racecraft that decide this, not ultimate hot lap pace. It's going to be massively difficult to overtake. So I hope you enjoy iRacing with Missed Apex here at the Red Bull Ring.
What a fantastic circuit, and we're really looking forward to seeing how these cars go around it. No one's really quite sure what's going to happen because, frankly, none of us have any experience of racing on this track because it's a new edition. I don't even think they've had the officials race here yet. Although, of course, we've just had 2 Grand Prix here, so I think we can expect a few things like track limits warnings and pack racing, especially with the slipstream effect of these cars. Hopefully we have Ellen back with us now.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, hello, welcome back.
Oh no, not again. Oh, you can hear me. Woo! Yeah. Oh, I panicked a minute.
Welcome back to the commentary box. You excited to get going for another round of action?
100%, yeah, definitely. And like you were just saying, because of what we've seen, I think recently in F1, I think we're excited to see how the drivers today respond to those track limits in particular, and everything else that this course, this very technical course, is going to throw. Course? Why did I say course? I've got in the habit of that for some reason. Used to all the running stuff. That's the problem. All this very technical track is going to throw at them.
Well, you are going to be working on the Olympics later this year, no? So I think that's fair enough. We'll forgive you for that one. Speaking of those track limits, iRacing now offers a very handy guide to where specifically you must keep your wheels in bound. And so we'll be probably referring to that as the night progresses. Just under 7 minutes remaining in this session, and still Harrison leading the field, still hunting that inaugural win in Missed Apex Esports. Didn't get one in the Formula Renault, and has not had one in the F3 so far. Now, setups for today, I'm told, are going to be pretty similar. Missed Apex provides setups. In addition, you can find your own. It's an open setup championship, but we do like to help people who aren't necessarily, wouldn't know where to go. I certainly wouldn't know which way to go for setup if I were racing in this championship. I tend to get mine for the officials from VRS or PDS or places like that, or Craig's Setup Shop. Plenty of places where you can get those. But we provide one that I think pretty much everyone has gone for. But there's been a lot of talk in the iRacing arena about negative rake setups, which seem to be a little bit of a cheat. And on our iRacing podcast, we decided to delve a little bit deeper into this setup trick.
I don't know where I land on this negative rake thing. We have found it worked very, very well at Spa. It worked very well at Monza, but I seriously question whether I should continue to use any negative rake setups because I felt like I was cheating.
So I think the point here is that there isn't, the reason Spanners thinks this is bordering on cheating is that there isn't a compromise with this particular setup. You're having the benefit of massive straight line speed whilst also still having really good cornering speed. But that's what this negative rake weird setup is supposed to do.
It's slightly less cornering speed. It's a little bit harder, but not as harder as it should be.
So for comparison, at Silverstone, I was a second and a half at best off my pace with the regular setup, using the negative rake setup. It's really good at slow speed corners, but medium and high speed corners, you essentially have no downforce on the front of the car.
It's not worked as well at tracks like Silverstone or, with the highest.
This is a bit different then to what I thought, because the traditional, the negative rake setup that everybody was getting up in arms about wasn't quite like that. It wasn't where you had this trade-off.
Right.
Like, it sounds like this is just a perfectly legitimate setup trade-off where it's quick in the straights and it's not quite as good in the corners, and other people could have a different trade-off.
Okay, so what is the thing you have heard about? Because it might just be a variation of it.
Yeah, the controversial thing from a few months ago now, I guess it was where, and I'm pretty sure it started off at Spa, was a setup that I've used as well, where it was just as quick in the corners and also crazy fast on the straights, because somehow maybe it stalled the aero on the straights, which meant that over a certain speed, you just lost all downforce, but it didn't matter because you were still just really, really fast. The moment you got below a certain speed, the air reconnected and you still had all the downforce in the corners. So that's when I was thinking, it's borderline cheating, but it's not cheating. What you're doing sounds like it's just legitimate, but it just seems to be working really well for you.
The Missed Apex iRacing podcast available on your podcatcher of choice, and the video version right here on this YouTube channel, Missed Apex Motorsport. So make sure you subscribe, check out the previous episodes, like the videos as well. They do really help us out in the fight against YouTube's algorithm. And if you haven't already, make sure you go and subscribe to the Missed Apex Podcast F1 account as well, and check out the latest Austrian Grand Prix review with myself and Ellen. We were on that show, and we spoke to Alex Brundle recently as well, so be sure to check that out. Loads of great content for you to check out on Missed Apex at the moment. 2.5 minutes remaining in this session. It's a perfect time to welcome the live chat room into this stream, so thank you for joining us, and we hope you enjoy tonight's festivities. We have Vasco in the chat, who's been here for quite a while, it seems. Am I early? Never too early, Vasco. Don't you ever worry about that. We also have C. Barry55, who might be a Carlos Sainz fan, is a long-time listener and first time watching the racing live. And he says he's looking forward to some action and seeing the talking done on track. Couldn't have put it better myself, C. Barry. We hope you enjoy tonight. So, Ellen, any thoughts ahead of qualifying? We've only got about 100 seconds until we head into that all-important session.
I think that's a very valid comment that the talking will be done on the track tonight, because it is so technical. I think, like, we're seeing and hearing in the hot lap, I don't think you can just be, it's more than just being a fast driver. Like, it's not just down to pace tonight. A lot of it will be down to technicalities as well. So I think it's going to throw some curveballs. I think it's going to be exciting, as they have been all series so far. So I think it's exciting, and I'm ready and excited to see them all get out on track and get those quali times in.
Absolutely. Just a reminder, it's a 10-minute qualifying session, so not like the officials that you may race in where you get 2 laps on your own. It's a 10-minute open session, and Ellen, I think that leaves the door open for a lot of slipstreaming gamesmanship.
Yeah, definitely. I think it will be. I just think there's so many things to factor into this track. There's going to be some games played, I think. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it.
Absolutely. It's going to be probably a pile out of the pit lane, as per usual. Just remind you of the running order in this practice session so far. We have Harrison fastest by just 44 thousandths of a second to Danny Henny. And then we have Gregory Leader, 3/10 of place in third. Stephen Williams and Alex Jonesma, that's your top five, both race winners so far this season. Brian Boomsma in 6th place. Kyle Power, Missed Apex panelist, up in 7th place. Ishmael Basso, the gold driver leader at the moment. That gold driver championship battle is incredibly tight at the moment. Just 1 point separates Basso and Jonesma, so definitely one to look out for tonight. Dobbelsberger and Anil Singh, that is your top 10 for the free practice session. And now we get into the juicy bit of qualifying. And look, it's a field of cars already making their way out of the pit lane. It's Alexander Dobbelsberger in that black and white Ace of Spades car who's leading the field away ahead of Lucas Raskovitz in the JPS Tribute, that black and gold, very 80s Lotus look on his car. And then championship leader Danny Henny in that bright red #1 car, that classic Venom's Work livery that we've come to know and love. Richard Molden's just behind them in the lime green, squabbling away for track position, and Henny's actually got past Raskovitz on this outlap. And track position here is going to be absolutely crucial. We just see Harrison behind them in that bright yellow car is in a bit of traffic, got Boomsma behind him, but he won't want to be behind the likes of Molden and Greenhow, who, with the greatest respect to those two drivers, he isn't going to be fighting today. So luckily it's a very short outlap here, so we don't have very long at all to wait for the cars to come around. Dobbelsberger is now making his way around those final 2 corners to start his first flying lap. Now we could well see a record number of laps. Such a short lap, only 1 minute 23 we're looking at for pole position, I think. Such a short lap, we could see 6 flying laps be put in to this one, and that's going to be absolutely crucial. As we well know, these tires on these cars, they take a while to get up to temperature, probably 3 or 4 laps or so. So we'll definitely see the best towards the end. Dobbelsberger with clear air in front of him as he heads through the first sector. 21.5 for him. Henny already 3/10 up on that, 21.2 so far. See what Harrison, he's done a 21.3. And given that Harrison and Henny were the top 2 cars in practice, we'll be looking at them for pole positions. Dobbelsberger too deep on the way into turn 3. He's gone through the gravel, and that's his first lap already gone. And Henny's caught right up to the back of that Ace of Spades car. So he'll benefit from the slipstream for a little bit, but the wake, especially in this section of the track, is going to be killing his lap time. So still early doors in this session, so it's not game over just yet, but Henny's either going to want to back off or get past Dobbelsberger in a bit of a hurry. I should say I referred to what Formula 1 calls turn 3 as turn 4 as turn 3. We're doing it properly. We're not counting the fact that that little kink is turn 2. Not my idea. It's iRacing's, so you can take it up with them if you like. But as it stands, this is a 9-corner track, not a 10-corner track. First lap times on the board, and it's unsurprisingly Henny leading the way on a 1:24.7 by 3/10 of a second to Luca Harrison. And then a few hundredths back to Jonesma in third. But of course, still early days. Don't read too much into these lap times. Apologies if you're seeing Alexander Dobbelsberger blinking in and out there. Who has once again gone wide into turn 3. And that has now released Henny. But he's now catching up with the cars who were not so eager to get out at the start of the session straight away. And is already going to put effectively a lap on some of these guys. Traffic management in this qualifying session, and indeed in the races, looks like it's going to be absolutely crucial here.
Definitely.
And
I think
Henny getting the traffic there. Sorry to cut over you there, Ellen, but Henny caught the traffic at exactly the wrong moment. There was a slow car wandering back across the racing line into that very speed right-hander. And I believe that same car has just had a spin at the final turn and will not be a popular boy in the Discord chat.
I was just going to say, as much as, you know, we did mention earlier that raw pace and will come into it a lot, as it always does in the race. There will be the technicalities where they'll make gains. Actually, this quali will be a good experience for them then going into the race for how they're going to start to make those moves, those attacks, and figure out where they lie in the race.
Absolutely. Every lap on here is a learning lap, I think. This track is short, but it is quite deceptively difficult. So that lap for Henny did not count because he had to go off the track to avoid that slowing car, but he still remains at the top of the times. It's Gregory Leader who's actually jumped into second place, bridging that gap to Harrison a little bit. We're watching Kyle Power at the moment. Currently sits in 6th place behind Brian Boomsma in the standings. He heads through this sort of infield section, probably one of the most tricky parts of the circuit, and definitely where you're going to start to feel that front end wake if you are stuck behind another car. And these fantastic final 2 corners, where another place where we're going to be talking about track limits, unfortunately, but Kyle doing a very good job, being very respectful there, as Dobertsberger now hits the front of the field. He has just gone purple with a 1 minute 24.4. Alex Dronsma into second place as well, pushes Henny down into third place. Stephen Williams now at the front on a 24.4. Just half a tenth separates Williams and Dobertsberger at the front of the field. Just over 3.5 minutes remaining in this session. Kyle now is coming up on all sorts of traffic as they're squabbling for track position. Richard Molden lets him go there. Decides to fight for another day. Richard Molden, one of the admins for this championship, along with Sam Watley. We are forever grateful for the work they put into this series, because it would not exist without them. And I've got to say, Richard's been showing quite good pace so far this week, so I do hope he can get it together and put in a solid qualifying lap. Now, somebody who has not put in a solid qualifying lap so far is David Hatton, the inaugural Formula Renault Challenge champion, down in 17th at the moment. So he'll be hoping for a little bit of Monster Energy boost for his qualifying. If you are unaware, he has a Monster Energy livery. That's what that's all about. Lucas Raskovitz goes up into 4th place. Is immediately usurped by Kyle Power, though, but Raskovitz, the silver driver points leader, so the lowest class we have, up in 5th place overall. That is monumental. It's no wonder that he has been dominating that class at the moment. Leads it by 57 points.
Incredibly promising start, isn't it?
Yeah, I've no doubt that he will be bumped up to gold for next season, and also due a promotion, I think, at Basso and Johnsma at the head of the gold field as well. Henny reclaims the top spot now by 0.2 of a second. He has put in a 1 minute 24.1, so has usurped Dobertsberger there. It's still Williams behind them, Power in 4th, Raskovitz 5th, Johnsma in 6th, then Singh leader Tim Ellis, who was the championship leader for most of this season, and then Andy Flagg in 10th place. Still 90 seconds or so remaining on the clock, so depending on when Henny reaches the line here, may just sneak in an extra lap. It's going to be very, very tight. I don't think we'll see until it gets across the line, unfortunately. That was very nip and tuck, but what a lap that one was, a 23.9, the first driver to go sub 124. Power gets close, 124.2, goes into second place, 0.3 behind Henny at the moment. And Henny, well, he has been the qualifying king so far this season, taken all but one pole position so far this season. That was at the opening round, where he was I would say a little bit denied by Harrison spinning right in front of him at the final corner. It was Bradley Philpott on pole position that day, and Henny and Philpott famously came together at Lake Coombe on the opening lap. That was the first moment of drama for this new championship, and believe me, it didn't stop there.
Every lap that the drivers have out on this track is going to be, like you say, learning, but Danny Henny already looks so well studied here.
Absolutely, and well, he is one of the absolute top drivers of the field, although he's going to get held up here by Taro Tylis in that 64 blue and white car, unfortunately, and has been sat behind him through these final two corners, so I would be surprised if he improves on his time. He does not, by half a second. Now, did he just sneak over the line there in time? It certainly looks like he's still pushing, so I'm going to assume he is. Power still in that second place. Jonesma has just jumped up into fourth ahead of Stephen Williams. And don't forget, Jonesma and Basso in that fight for the gold driver honours, which with only 1 point separating them in that class. Now, Luca Harrison, we have not talked about him so far this session. He's just gone into 6th place. I wonder where his pace has gone, if he's been held up at some point, hasn't found the right gap in the traffic, but certainly not the kind of pace we expected to see from the man who not only led this practice session just a few minutes ago, but has also been showing some rocket speed during the week's practice. So this will be the final lap for Henny then, and it looks like he is slowing down. He is indeed. He's coming into the pits. So that is all she wrote for Danny Henny. 123.9 is the benchmark. I don't think anyone is currently in a position to try and take that away from him. It looks like pretty much everyone is now making their way back into the pits, and that would suggest to me that for the 4th time this season, it will be Danny Henny on pole position ahead of Kyle Power and Alexander Dobertsberger. Give you a rundown of the rest of the order. So it was Alex Jonesma who took 4th place there, ahead of Stephen Williams. Luca Harrison secured 6th place. Anil Singh in 7th. Brian Boomsma, Lucas Raskovitz, and Ishmael Basso. That is your top 10 for this qualifying session, which of course sets the grid for this feature race, which is coming up now. Further down the field in 11th place, we have Andy Flagg, Tim Ellis in 12th, and Gregory Leader in 13th, Barry Kemp in 14th, Mark Greenhow in 15th, Alex McBride in 16th, then Colin Ward, David Hatton starting all the way down in 18th place, John McClintock and Richard Spanners ready. That is your top 20, and don't forget, that top 20 is where we will reverse the grid for the next 2 races. So that 20th spot will bag you pole position for the second race, and Spanners starting in that 20th position, but he will have the likes of John Cox and Colton Myers for very close company. We are less than a minute away from the start of round 5 of the Missed Apex iRacing F3 Cup. Ellen, any final thoughts before we get going?
I'm excited. We have got such a great looking, well, even like you were saying, further down, there's going to be lots of battles, lots for the drivers to get their teeth into, whilst trying to battle as well with track limits and everything that the track's going to throw at them.
Well, this is an important day for Kyle Power, starting on the front row of the grid. He needs to reclaim some ground in the championship. He said pretty much every race he's had so far this season has been compromised in some way or another. He's had one bad, race that's stopping getting the points he needs. Silverstone was probably the first time he got all 3 races in cleanly, and he is starting in a very good position for this round 5. The two Venom Works liveried cars on the front row of the grid, the red of Danny Henny and the bright green of Kyle Power. They are going to be the two cars charging towards that first corner. Dobertsberger and Dronsma and Williams, the top 5 on the grid. Watch out for Luca Harrison in 6th as well. We are about to get underway for round 5 of the iRacing F3 Cup, and Henny leads the field away. I don't think Power got a great start because he's being challenged by Dobertsberger down into that first corner. Dronsma taking to the curbing to try and avoid the melee, and Dobertsberger and Power side by side for that second place spot as Henny is leading them away on the run up towards turn 2. Dobertsberger is going to be on the outside line, so Power holding the inside, and he's having to leave a lot of space because of the blinking car that is Dobertsberger, and they both managed to navigate turn 2 safely. Running off across the curb there was Brian Boomsma in the orange and black car, but still they are wheel to wheel for second place between Dobertsberger and Power. Williams and Dronsma looking to get in on this as well. It's Power who retakes that second place. Williams and Dronsma now about to do the dance as well, as Dronsma slots into 4th place behind Dobertsberger. All the meanwhile, Danny Henny is romping away. Down into this very fast section of track, the left and right, and then these final two very high speed right-handers. And Dronsma looks to have a look down the inside to try and get himself onto the podium. Dobertsberger runs out wide, seeing the white crested nose in his mirrors. Look at that for a train of cars that are currently chasing down Danny Henny, who leads this race by 1 second at the end of lap 1. Then it's Power, Dobertsberger, Dronsma, Williams and Harrison all in a line, as Dronsma looked like he thought about going around the outside of turn 1. That was very brave indeed, but it looks like it's compromised his run as he bounced over the curves, as he's got Williams now challenging him down the inside for 4th place towards turn 2. Dronsma with a bit of slipstream from Dobertsberger. Looks like he's able to repel Williams's advances, who is running that green Aston Martin coloured car, and he got a bit of a wiggle on out of turn 2, and that could well give Harrison a run at him down towards the braking zone at turn 3. He's on the outside line, and he's going to have to try and Perez it around the outside, and they do not touch, and they both make it through safely, and it looks like Harrison now is going to have the line into turn 5 and makes that move stick. A bit of a wiggle as Williams still not thinking this is done, tries to go around the outside, but Harrison goes through and is into 5th place. How long is that going to last though, because look how close Williams is to the back of Harrison's car, and doesn't think about a move into those final two corners. Harrison goes very, very wide at the penultimate corner though, perhaps a deliberate little cheat to try and open up the gap to Williams. It certainly works for him. He's opened up half a second on the Aston Martin car there, who is now got to watch out for Anil Singh in that rather striking pink car in his mirrors. Now look at this, Dobertsberger and Kyle Power look very close for second place again now. Power lost another half second to Henny on that second. Oh, Dronsma has gone round. He was in 4th place there, I believe, but he's lost it out of turn 2 and is now tumbling down the order. That's such a shame for him. But meanwhile, we're still fixated on this battle for second place. Alexander Dobertsberger in that number 21 Motorhead Ace of Spades car, staring down the back of the bright green number 6 car of Kyle Power. Both of these drivers have taken wins so far this season. I say wins, 1 win apiece, multiple podiums, so they certainly know what it takes to be fighting up at the front of the field in this championship. And they do have to be careful though, because if they start squabbling, they will invite Harrison to join them, and Harrison has just gone very wide again at that penultimate corner. Now I know the liberties you can take with that corner are a little bit more extreme than what they were in the F1 for example, but still, he's got to be triggering some 1Xs there. And don't forget, if you get 16 Xs, you will be given a drive-through penalty. Now, look at this for second place. Dobbelsberger much closer on the run into turn 2. Now, Power defends, and Dobbelsberger's got to try and go the long way around, braking up the hill towards turn 2. Dobbelsberger around the outside. Good thing about that corner is the camber means you can make that work. They're still neck and neck down this straight. Power will have the line down into turn 3. See if Dobbelsberger fancies a run around the outside again. Power very gently shows him the door to walk through and retains that second place spot. And almost immediately Harrison is on the back of these two. So Harrison, after what was maybe a little bit of a disappointing qualifying session, is now suddenly he's got second place in his sights, just 2 cars up the road. And don't forget about Williams and Boomsma as well, who are also in close proximity. The great thing about this track is it's very hard to lose the pack. And if you do somehow manage to do it, it's all too easy to invite them back in again by having a bit of a squabble.
Andy Flagg has been avoiding pretty much most of the trouble in that bright pink livery. He has got Tim Ellis behind him. Tim's catching up a bit. They're battling it out for 9 and 10. Further back down though, we've got Hatton. He's been sort of in a bit of a tussle, just sort of flirting with the top 10, but Flagg and Ellis seem to be pulling away from that group where they're all sort of very linear at the start, very bumper, nose to bumper, sort of going through, but Andy Flagg sort of pulling away now.
Yeah, Hatton has made up some places so far. It looks like Flagg and Basso are squabbling away for that 8th place spot, and they are side by side going down towards turn 3.
Tim Ellis just trying to get in there as well.
Yeah, fantastic scrapping for the lower regions there. Meanwhile, in that battle for second place, Dobbelsberger just had a little look down the inside of turn 3, but there was no way to make that one happen. And this is music to the ears of Danny Henny, who's now 3 seconds ahead of this squabble. Just give you an update further down the order. Currently in what would be reverse grid pole is Garen Batten in that number 67 car. He's in 20th spot, but I fully expect that to be disputed before the end of the race, as we're now on lap 6 of 13, and this battle for second place continues to rage on. Those 3 cars squabbling away like mad, with Williams and Boomsma waiting patiently in the wings, and Dobbelsberger looks like he's got Power napping a little bit this time as he's found the inside line for turn 2. Now Power will try and use that camber on the outside to keep the high ground, and he has out-dragged Dobbelsberger on the way out of the corner and holds on to second place once again. This time he does go defensive towards 3, and Harrison looking to pick his way through as well. Dobbelsberger making a charge around the outside. This time he isn't forced out as wide this time, but he cannot get alongside Kyle Power's car. And these guys are going to have to contend with a bit of lap traffic very shortly. I believe that's John Lang towards the rear of the field, who they are going to come up to lap very shortly. Henny's already made his way through, and these guys are going to come up on him very quickly. Dobbelsberger getting a great slipstream now, and is going to fancy a run around the outside of the penultimate corner. Thinks better of it. Wise choice, my friend. But Williams is most definitely in this squabble now, sat there in 5th place. It could well be picking up some pieces if these guys start to trip over each other. Dobbelsberger once again has another little look down the inside of turn 1, but no way through. Probably just trying to put Power off, but it's going to take more than that to put someone of Power's caliber off focus. And once again, side by side towards turn 2. This is lap 7 now of 13. Has Dobbelsberger been able to draw clear? No, once again, Power holds it firm. Doesn't matter whether he's on the inside or the outside, he is able to keep that second place into turn 2. This is a sterling defensive effort here from Power. Now what's going to happen when they get down to turn 3 again? Dobbelsberger's tried twice around the outside here already. He tries for a 3rd time, and still it does not come off. Oh, a lunge down the inside though, and Power has to give him some space. Now, he really did catch Power by surprise there, and he may now well find himself in second place. Still there wheel to wheel, going through these turns 6 and 7, and still Power holds on. What a drive, and now Harrison has drawn alongside Dobbelsberger. He'll have the slipstream from Power. Surely he's not going to go around the outside of the penultimate corner. Once again, runs out very, very wide and very nearly contacted that final corner, and that was a little bit cheeky from Harrison, but I don't think we should come to expect anything less of him. That's really compromised Dobbelsberger though, because Williams is now coming through into turn 1 as well. And oh, did they just make contact? I heard some crunching of wheel hubs or some carbon fiber there, but Dobbelsberger runs off the track and loses both places. Boomsma now looking to take advantage of that. So he's passed Dobbelsberger, now he's going to try and get past Williams as well on the run into turn 2. Oh, Williams breaks deep and holds it firm and retains that 4th place spot. Boomsma having another look around
Edward
the
Shelley.
outside. Oh, go for it, Ellen.
No, I was going to say Edward Cherry's been nipping at the heels of Colton Myers for probably about 2 or 3 laps now after Gregory Leader made his way past him, and now the two of them are just completely going at it. They're just taking any opportunity to attack each other. Shelley has just got round, and then Myers will go back at him again.
The wonderful thing about this championship, great racing up or down the field. Doesn't matter what your skill level is, you'll be fighting for something. Now, Williams and Boomsma got very, very close into turn 3. So a puff of smoke as there was maybe a bit of tyre contact. Oh no, Dobbelsberger out of the final corner, out of what I believe was 5th place, has dropped it, and he's now well and truly out of this battle now. So this has not gone the way Dobbelsberger wanted to at all. Meanwhile, Harrison in 3rd place, now right up the gearbox of Kyle Power, and Power's going to have to do some more defending here, and well, he chooses not to into turn 2. He made this work against Dobbelsberger. Is he going to be able to do the same against Harrison? No, he goes through, clean as you like, clinical like a knife through butter. Power's going to come back at him though in the slipstream, and Harrison doesn't move defensively, and Power down the inside at turn 3 could well take it back. Harrison goes a long way round, and they're going to be neck and neck on the exit of the corner, but surely Harrison will have the high ground into this next left-hander and holds on to that 2nd place, where we've now got just 5 laps to go. Thrilling battle for 2nd place we've seen here, and Kyle Power, that stout defence of that position has sadly come to an end. What's he got left in the tank, I wonder? Can he make a charge back at Harrison, who has once again run very wide on that penultimate corner? And well, he's most certainly doing it deliberately. He's got to be flirting with danger a little bit of getting that drive-through penalty though. Four laps to go in this one, and Harrison had a mighty run out of turn 1. Actually, he's just pulled almost a second on Power already. So Harrison, his hopes of victory well in this race are looking not so great, as Henny is now 6.5 seconds up the road. So it looks like it's going to be yet another feature race victory for the championship leader, who is proving once again why he's in such a strong position in the points standings. Harrison and Power the podium at the moment, unless Stephen Williams can try and get himself back in there. He's not far behind Power, just half a second in it. So Power better look over his shoulder in these final few laps. Brian Boomsma in 5th place at the moment, a little bit on his own, as there's a bit of a gap back to Andy Flagg, and then Ishmael Basso, who has Tim Ellis for close company, who has come up from what I believe was 11th on the grid. He's now staring at the back of Basso's car, and having a look down the inside of the penultimate corner. That's a brave one indeed. Forces Basso out wide. I thought he might just sneak through at that final corner, but no way for him there. Raskovitz and Alex McBride and Dobbelsberger very close behind them as well. That's the top 11. Alex McBride running what I believe would be a fan favourite white and red Missed Apex Swarm livery, although he looks like he's about to lose that top 10 spot to Dobbelsberger, as Ellis has now made his way past Basso for that 7th place spot. Basso went wide on the exit of that turn 1, compromised his run up the hill, and Ellis needed no second invitation.
Mark Greenhow currently sat in that 20th position, that reverse grid pole, but just behind him, Alex Van Gee. So he'll be nipping right at his heels and wanting to get past him in these next few laps.
That all-important 20th spot, it can turn around your weekend, or your night, I should say. Now, Williams has most definitely caught the back of Kyle Power now, so the battle for 3rd place is the one to watch for what is going to be these final 2 laps of this feature race for round 5 of the Missed Apex iRacing F3 Cup. Henny leads the field, 7 seconds clear of Harrison. Then this battle for 3rd place, Power in the bright green number 6 car, Stephen Williams in the number 7 Aston Martin colours behind him, fighting for the last spot on the podium. And it's the run up towards turn 2, that fantastic slipstreaming opportunity which Williams is just soaking up at the moment. Power goes defensive, and Williams going to have to go the long way around. No way through for him on that occasion. He's going to line up the exit and get the run back down the hill towards turn 3. Power is not going to move from that right-hand side of the circuit. And Williams once again forced to the outside and thinks better of trying to brave it out around the outside. Goes for the undercut. Has he just drawn alongside Power there? I believe he has, but he's going to be on the wrong line into this next left-hander. So there's no way through for him there. And he will be suffering in the turbulent air of Power's car. So certainly doing a very good job to stick with him through this twistier section of the track. Look at the run he's got back up towards the penultimate corner, though. Doesn't try to brave a move around the outside of what is the fastest corner on this track. White flag has gone out, so we're on the final lap now, and Henny most definitely clear and comfortable at the moment. The battle for 3rd place is the one to watch. Power versus Williams. And Williams going to be running out of corners soon enough. Now a slow car just emerging from the pit. That may well be the saviour to Kyle Power as he's taking that slipstream with him. Or it may also be his worst enemy if he gets boxed in here at turn 2. Williams has found the inside line. Oh, Power just cuts across the nose of Williams' car, and they both navigate the back marker. I think Power just benefited from that slipstream. That may well have just kept him in 2nd place for now, but Williams got a couple more opportunities yet. Down towards turn 3, looks towards the inside, not late enough on the brakes. Thought that he could try and catch Power out there, but Kyle Power too wise for that one. Meanwhile, Danny Henny into the final sector of the lap now, and has just been absolutely imperious as per usual in his pursuit of the championship, and is on course to take yet another feature race victory, and what will be his 8th of the season. Unbelievable from Danny Henny, car number 1 in position 1 once again. Luca Harrison comes across the line in 2nd place, and there is Kyle Power. He has been able to repel the advances of Stephen Williams, and he bags the podium. Brian Boomsma in 5th place, then Andy Flagg and Tim Ellis in that 7th place spot. And Alexander Dobbelsberger, after a spin earlier on, has recovered to 8th place, just in front of Lucas Raskowitz and Alex McBride in that rather smart white and red Missed Apex Swarm livery is in 10th place. So that is race 1 done. I'm going to try and get Danny in here very briefly. I know it's a very short in lap, so we will have to be quick with him. Danny on the top step of the podium once again.
Yeah, thanks, guys. I'm absolutely buzzing about that. I was panicking a bit after last night in the practice. Lucas seemed like he'd got my number. I've been on, I ain't kidding you, for about 4 or 5 hours today, trying everything I could chucking out the car. And fortunately, I managed to find a setup what works, and now the car's perfect. Wouldn't change a thing.
Absolutely. I should correct myself. I said that was your 8th victory, it's your 8th podium, but your 5th victory of the season so far. I mean, you surely got one hand on the championship at this point.
I wouldn't say that because I know anything can happen, but the aim's to put it pretty close tonight. Yeah, I'd like to have one hand on it by the end of the night, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's crunch time in the championship. Your start looked particularly good. You've been practicing those.
I have, Chris. Thanks for noticing. Yeah, I've been using a good little app what Matt or Kim in Slack developed. So, yeah, got it down to 2.68 seconds, 0 to 60. So I'm hoping it'll come in good in the next race.
Wow, no one is going to thank you for that. Good luck for race 2, starting in 20th. We look forward to seeing you come through the pack.
Cheers. Thanks, guys. See you later.
Right, well, we're going to get out of here. We're going to take a short break, but don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with race 2. Welcome back to the Red Bull Ring in Austria, where we are about to get underway for the first of 2 reverse grid races for round 5 of the Missed Apex iRacing F3 Cup. Big thanks to Matt Trumpets for his incredible intro cards that he's been making for us this season. I think they really add to the drama. Brilliantly cheesy and over the top, and that's just the way I like it. Just in the warm-up session here, before we grid up for race 2, we have Stephen Taylor on screen at the moment in that very distinctive Mr. Sparkle livery, which you will not miss on track, number 43 car there. So if you are new to the F3 Cup, what we do is we take that top 20 from the feature race, we reverse it, and that means that Edward Shelley, having finished 20th in the feature race, will start on pole position for this one, and Danny Henney will be starting 20th, and will have to try and navigate his way through the field. Now, last time out at Silverstone, that's exactly what he did to make it back-to-back victories, which we haven't seen in this championship at all, and we haven't seen it in the Formula Renault Challenge for a very long time either as well. So a masterful display by Henney last time out, and he is once again in tip-top form here at the Red Bull Ring. We're just waiting for the last few stragglers to get into the session, and a good opportunity to thank the admins Richard Molden and Sam Watley once again, because as soon as the feature race is done, they have to build up a whole new session with a custom grid for us, and they do it in rapid time as well, I will say, quicker than a COVID test. I suppose while we're waiting, we get a chance to just admire this new track, and what an amazing job iRacing has done to bring this to the sim, and has pretty much immediately become a fan favourite. I expect to see plenty of racing on this track in the officials in the weeks to come. And while we're waiting as well, remember to like this stream and let us know in the chat room if you're enjoying the stream, where you're watching from, who you're supporting. We have a Vasco Brightonfield fan in the chat. I wish I could tell you where he finished in the feature race, but I didn't quite get a chance to note down that result. But Jose there, a fan of Vasco, same surname, so I am going to deduct that they are related, and that's why Jose there is supporting Vasco. Vasco is a newbie, I think. Steve's telling me in my ear. It's not a name I've heard in the championship before. Actually, while we're talking about that, haven't seen Alex McBride around for a long time either. So good job on him getting into that top 10 in the feature race, as Stephen Taylor has parked up down at turn 2 and right at the correct time, because we're gridding up for a race. So I'll give you a chance to run down the order with you in just a second, as we see the field lining up there. It will be Edward Shelley in that Marmite car on pole position, the black car with the yellow trim and the yellow rims, with Barry Kemp in that classic Golf livery alongside him on the front row. Richard Molden, not yet on the grid, but you won't miss him. He's in that lime chrome green, number 69 car. In third place, Garen Batten, the very dark navy blue, black purple car. David Hatton in car number 666, the Monster Energy coloured car, in fifth place. He's got to be a shout for victory in this one. Colton Myers in sixth. Richard Spanners ready. Ishmael Basso, Colin Ward and Gregory Leader is your top 10 for this reverse grid race. Away they go. Shelley leads the field away in the Marmite coloured car. Richard Molden looks like he's already challenging for second place, getting up alongside Barry Kemp towards turn 1. Molden goes out wide though, and that is an open door for David Hatton to try and sneak through as well, though Molden looks like he's kept the place. Top 2 have gone away a little bit, and it's 3 wide behind them for third place. Hatton right in the middle of that, and Batten wisely backs out of that one, and Hatton goes through into third place. Plenty of squabbling and jostling behind them, as well as Colton Myers looks to try and find a way through in 7th place, as once again 3 wide down towards turn 3. Basso coming out on top, and that one right through the middle. So that was brave stuff from the Gold Championship leader to try and make up a place there, and he's into 4th place already. As Molden goes for a spin, oh no, that's not what we wanted to see, and Spanners has had to go off the track in avoidance as well. But crucially, it looks like our main protagonists from the feature race have gotten away cleanly.
You say that, Henny has literally just spun, and he just spun out. He managed to just about regain it and then swerve his way out of trouble. But I was so close to saying, how many times do we sit here and say, you know, what Danny needs to do, especially, you know, we're mentioning how great his starts are, is, yeah, get a great start, but then stay out of trouble for this sort of first lap, and then focus when things have cleared up and calmed down a bit on moving forward. But he seems to have recovered quite well, but that, when he was trying to stay out of trouble, would be not what he wants at all.
21st on my timing screen across the line. I would like to say about 3 seconds before I said that, he was running fine. But his 2 rivals from the previous race, Kyle Power and Luca Harrison, have gotten away cleanly. Power's come across the line in 13th place, Harrison in 15th. Meanwhile, up at the front of the field, Edward Shelley has just a couple of tenths of a second over Barry Kemp, David Hatton and Ishmael Basso. Looks like we're going to get a 4-way scrap for the lead, and I would expect Hatton and Basso to find their way through these guys.
If anyone is going to regain composure on this track, it's going to be Henny, though, isn't it? You know, we've spoken about it before. He's spoken about it. He's been studying. He knows this track and he knows what it can throw at him. So he'll just have to sort of keep chipping away. You know, he's coming on the back now, coming up to the back of Spanners. He'll just want to keep sort of chipping away and moving up forward, and hoping that he doesn't get into too much trouble anymore. I think just Spanners just goes a little bit wide there, and just gives Henny an opportunity to catch up.
Absolutely, I fully expect Henny to be making progress through the field. Now look at this, Shelley at the head of the field, going defensive on the run into turn 1 against Barry Kemp. That is going to compromise his exit, and there's just a queue of cars waiting to get past him if he doesn't get the best of runs up this hill. And Hatton makes the move. He's pulled out to the outside on Barry Kemp. So David Hatton in that black and green 666 car is going to try and take both of them, and goes into the lead round the outside. What a stunning move from David Hatton. A little bit of squabbling and jostling as Shelley and Kemp had to try and navigate the corner. Kemp got through into 2nd place, Shelley down to 3rd, but what a move from David Hatton. Oh, and Shelley now locks up big time down into turn 3 and is into the gravel trap. So any hope of a podium in this reverse grid race has just gone through the, down the drain. So that promotes Dobertsberger into 4th place. Batten in 5th now, ahead of Gregory Leader. Stephen Williams has come up through the order. He's in 7th place already. Then Colin Ward, Andy Flagg and Brian Boomsma. That's your top 10 at the moment. Power about to break into that top 10 as well. He's staring down the back of Boomsma's car. Harrison close behind them as well. So the top guys definitely making their way through the order. Batten coming under pressure from Gregory Leader now for 5th place, and Leader very late on the brakes there as he goes through before they even get to the corner. Williams trying to follow him through as well. Here comes Ward as well. They're going to make it 3 wide on the run up towards turn 2. Now Williams was very heavily compromised on the exit of that corner because Ward's gone straight through and taken both of them. So that's him up into 6th place now. Williams tries to regain that place. It's all getting very close for comfort as Power gets tucked up behind Darren Batten's car is being swallowed up by the pack now. And this is where Power needs to be careful. He said Silverstone was the first time this season that he has gotten through all 3 races cleanly, and he wants to try and keep up that record because he needs to try and regain some ground in the championship, which he can do on Henny today if Henny struggles to get through the pack. So that's Power up into 10th place there, man who was 4th in the championship going into this weekend. Don't forget, 62 points adrift of Henny. He's lost a few of them in the feature race, but could well gain some back in this reverse grid race as Harrison now finds his way through on Batten as well. Oh dear, I believe Colton Myers has gone for a spin down at the final corner. Couldn't quite get the position he was in before that, but a bit of a disaster for him. Now, Brian Boomsma in 9th place, going very slowly down the pit straight. I wonder if he's exceeded the track limits there and found himself with a slowdown penalty because he's just, waving these guys through. So perhaps a little bit of over-exuberance there in abusing the track limits for Boomsma. Or maybe got caught up in an incident. He's still going very slowly. Either he's got a major slowdown penalty or he's got some sort of technical problem with his rig. He's still going slowly. Maybe he has got damage on that car and is just nursing it back to the pit. So bit of a shame there for Brian Boomsma, as he was coming up through the pack nicely and was looking to make it 2 good results on the trot. But sadly, it looks like that is not going to be the case. So now things have calmed down a little bit. Let me run you through the order. We have David Hatton leading the field by 2 seconds over Barry Kemp, who still has Ismail Basso for close company. Alexander Dobbelsberger looking to make his way on to the podium as well, recovering, of course, from the spin he had in the feature race, which rather compromised his position. And Gregory Leader not too far behind them as well in 5th place. Basso had a bit of a look down the inside on Kemp into turn 1, but no way through there. Just behind Gregory Leader, we have Stephen Williams in 6th place, still with Ward and Power for close company. Then Luca Harrison in 10th place, and Tim Ellis is your top 10 at the moment. And Basso making the move around the outside of turn 2 on Barry Kemp. This is for 2nd position, and he looks like he might just draw clear on the run down towards turn 3. Very, very close. Here comes Dobbelsberger, going to try and make it 3 wide. He's looking down the inside, and Kemp may well have to try and back out of this one. So Basso goes through, and Dobbelsberger tries to follow him through. He does indeed. Can he now have a run at 2nd place? He's drawn alongside Basso, and they're going to go wheel to wheel into turn 5. But Basso comes out on top. Dobbelsberger can't get around the outside there. Basso, don't forget, is the leader in the gold standings by just 1 point over Alex Jones. We're going into this one, and so he has a big fight on his hands. There's Dobbelsberger now looking towards the inside at the penultimate corner and makes it stick. Fantastic move down the inside, and Dobbelsberger is up into 2nd place. Another man looking to regain some ground in the championship was 3rd in the standings heading into this one, 55 points adrift, and now finds himself in 2nd place in this reverse grid race ahead of Ismail Basso. And Basso doesn't look finished yet, though. He could be a bit of fight left in him. Gregory Leader's caught onto the back of Barry Kemp in all of that fighting as he looks to make his way into 4th place as well. But Basso definitely doesn't look finished. Oh, a bit of a hop and a bounce over the curb there. May well have given him a 1x for that, but I don't think you'll get the slowdown, not unless you put all 4 wheels across that yellow curb. You should be okay, as Leader looking around the outside of Kemp for 4th place there down into turn 3, but Kemp successfully defending that position. But Leader with a great run out of the corner though, and can he make it around the outside of turn 5? Not on your life. Kemp, blinking in and out there, unfortunately. Oh no, he's gone into the back of him. Or was that a little bit of netcode? We just saw Barry Kemp blinking in and out there. So I think Leader may well have been caught out by that and just tagged the back of his car. That's so unfortunate for him, but unfortunately a reality of sim racing. So no one's fault there. Really, that's a shame because I think that was unfolding quite nicely, but that has promoted Stephen Williams up to 4th place, who's about 2 and a bit seconds behind Basso now, with 6 laps still to run. Power and Ward, man. So Power's gone ahead of Ward. He's now in 5th place.
A battle, sort of, I say emerging. It's been going on for a couple of laps now. We have got Shilcock, Reddy, and Henny all together. Spanners initially yielded to Henny, letting him past, and then there was a nice little battle between Shilcock and Henny. And then after that, Henny just hasn't been looking as comfortable. I mean, right now we see him go sort of cruise past Shilcock, because he's teaching me to eat my words. But he's had a couple of lockups. He hasn't been looking as comfortable as we'd expect. But to be fair, his confidence seems to be coming back in this lap. He seems to be moving well. We'll see if Spanners lets him go past again. And then we've got Alex Van Gien, who's catching up as well, because they've been tossing for a couple of laps now, just allowing Van Gien to latch onto the back. So we'll see how that develops. But yeah, Henny he's probably not had a smoother ride as had been expected, or at least wanted, this race so far.
Spanners with a very tiny move up the inside into that turn 5, takes 12th place away from Barry Kemp there. He'll be giving himself a little come on, and shaking a fist in happiness about that one. Now looking at the back of our pole sitter, Edward Shelley, for 11th place. As you say, Danny Henny making his way through, and another panellist, Alex Van Gien, coming through the order as well there in 14th place. Great to see Spanners getting in the fight and recovering after having to go off the track in avoidance of the Henny incident. Or was it the Henny incident? It was somebody went off on the opening lap, and we saw Spanners having to take to the gravel, the escape roads. It was Malden, that was it. Yes, of course it was. He spun down that turn 5, and currently running in 22nd place. So actually still in contention for reverse grid pole for race 3. Gregory Leader currently holds that 20th place spot after his dramas with Ishmael Basso earlier in this race.
Leader will be one to watch, because in the races we've seen before, I think Silverstone in particular, he does not give places up. He is right in the fight, and I was thinking this last race when when he was sitting around that 20 mark again. I'm thinking it's going to be an interesting race. If he does stick in that 20th position, that reverse grid pole will be in for a very exciting last race.
Absolutely. And look at this, Spanners nose to tail with Shelley here going into these final 2 corners. We've got 4 laps left to run.
This isn't like the slightly underconfident Spanners that we've been talking to earlier on this week, who didn't seem ready. Well, I don't want to say didn't seem ready, but didn't seem confident in himself at all heading into this race. But apart from he always says that he'll let Henny pass if he needs to, and we'll put up a fight when he's confident, like last time out, and he's ready to fight. He'll put up a fight, but he does seem a lot more confident than maybe he was giving off earlier on in the week.
Yeah, certainly got some confidence here as he made the move on Shelley into turn 1 and now defending into turn 2. Shelley forced up on the curb there. Still with a good run out of the corner though, and watch out for Alex Van Gien. Going to pick up some pieces here potentially, but Spanners defensive driving down the inside. Shelley tries to brave it out the long way around. Spanners still holding firm. And I'd be surprised if Shelley can make it up the inside here. Spanners having to go way off the racing line and very close on the exit of the corner, but he's got it through, and that's 11th place for Spanners now. Absolutely. Now, at the front of the field, Alexander Dobbelsberger has just halved the gap to our race leader, David Hatton. And I tell you what, Ishmael Basso is not far behind either. Now, we have seen Hatton struggle for pace, but he was 1 second slower than Dobbelsberger on that final lap. I thought once Hatton hit the front of the field, he may well romp clear, but perhaps there's still another twist in this tale with 2.5 laps remaining in this race 2 reverse grid race.
Henny's just made a move down the inside, or attempting to make a move down the inside of Alex Van Gien. Oh, goes around the outside there, and just not quite. It's difficult, just not quite getting it fully on the turns. I think that's probably where he's been losing time so far. But he's still, he's made up quite a few positions and is coping well with that early setback.
Quite come through the field, although of course by the time he's making his way through the field's spread out a little bit, so it's always harder to get through after even just 2 laps than it is at the start of the race.
That balance of staying out of trouble earlier on and not getting bunched up, but then also not leaving it too long, so then everyone's starting off ahead of you.
Up at the front of the field, that gap has been halved once again. Just half a second separated Hatton and Dobbelsberger as they went over the line to start lap 12, the penultimate lap of this race. And Dobbelsberger's got a great run out of turn 1, and Hatton is moving every which way to defend the position. It's side by side for the lead of the race. Dobbelsberger to the outside of turn 2. Can't find a way through. Can he get the traction on the exit? Hatton feeds him out towards the curb, still weaving across the track. This is every trick in the book that Hatton is pulling out here. Probably more of the gentleman racer we've considered him in the past, but he's doing everything he can to repel Dobbelsberger at the moment. He's very late on the brakes on the outside at turn 3. And once again, Hatton just squeezing him over to the curbing and no way through. But Dobbelsberger, has he got the run down towards turn 5? Hatton has to leave him some space. Now we saw Dobbelsberger making some good moves in this part of the track in the feature race. Can he pull a move like that on Hatton for the lead in this one? They're coming up to the penultimate 2 corners. After that, there'll just be 1 lap remaining in this reverse grid race. No way through for Dobbelsberger into that penultimate corner. You've got to try and get the good exit out of here and line him up towards turn 1 or maybe even turn 2. There's the white flag. Hatton moving over to the right hand side of the track, back over to the left, trying desperately to break that toe. Dobbelsberger looks towards the inside, thinks better of it. He doesn't want to get up the inside at turn 1 because he knows that Hatton will have a great slipstream back up the hill, but now he's putting himself under pressure because he's got to get it done soon. Hatton's still weaving across the track, and Dobbelsberger almost squeezed out onto the grass, but he has found the inside line for turn 2. Can he get up the inside? Yes, Dobbelsberger takes the lead of the race. Hatton tries to get the undercut and get the better run out of the corner. Back into the slipstream. Can he reclaim the lead? Nose to tail as they head down towards turn 2. We've seen Hatton involved in a few final lap scraps in the past. And he locks up down towards turn 3, almost goes into the back of Dobbelsberger. But he has found himself some traction on the exit of the corner, and they're side by side once again towards turn 5. Surely Hatton's not going to go around the outside of there. Fantastic racing once again in the Missed Apex iRacing F3 Cup. If Hatton wants to reclaim the lead of this race, he's running out of corners. 2 to go, and Dobbelsberger has just a couple of tenths of a second over Hatton, and that might be all he needs. 2 corners to go. Through there safely. It doesn't look like Hatton's got any chance left. Dobbelsberger safely navigates that final corner and brilliantly takes the win in the reverse grid race. Sensational driving. Hatton survives in 2nd place, and Ismael Basso 3rd across the line. What a battle at the end of that one.
That is exactly the racing that we love to see.
Couldn't have put it better myself. Hatton, I think, will be a little bit dejected by it, that one, as I think maybe like me, he thought he was going to hang on to the lead there, not quite expecting the pace of Dobbelsberger towards the end of that race. Absolutely sensational. I'll see if I can get him in the Discord chat. Alexander Dobbelsberger, we have brought you into the commentary channel. What a brilliant battle you have in there with David at the end.
It was amazing last 2 laps, but David had really bad luck with the traffic. He lost like over a second, I think in lap 7 or 6. I would have never caught him if that wouldn't have happened. But still, I'm
very, very gracious in victory there. A storming drive. I mean, you were coming through the field like a hot knife through butter.
Yeah, there were a few situations where it was a bit hairy, but it all worked out somehow.
All right, well, good man. And your second victory of the season. You're actually the first person other than Henny to win multiple races this season, so congratulations.
Wow, I didn't know that. Thank you very much.
All right, good luck for race 3.
Thanks.
Alexander Domersberger there. Great character in the Missed Apex esports community. Just to give you a rundown of the rest of the order, we had Stephen Williams in 4th, Kyle Power in 5th, Luca Harrison 6th, Tim Ellis, Colin Ward, Alex Stromsmat, and Garen Batten. That was your top 10. And Spanners did get across the line in 11th place there, just ahead of Alex Van Geen in 12th. And if my maths is correct, we'll have Peter Shilcock on pole position for the final championship race of the night. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with race 3. Welcome back to the Red Bull Ring in Austria, where we are about to get underway for the final championship race of the night, race 3, the final top 20 reverse grid race, where we will have, once again, he seems to be the reverse pole king of this championship, Peter Schillcock on pole position, Lucas Raskovitz on the front row of the grid. Now that is a very rapid car starting in a very high place on the grid, the silver championship leader, don't forget, and he has been punching his way in the top 5 overall tonight, so expect him to be leading at some point. John McClintock in 3rd, Gregory Leader, another very quick car, in 4th, and then Danny Henny, the championship leader, starting in 5th place after the dramas he had in race 2. So fully expect him to be, maybe have a little bit of a battle with Leader and Raskovitz. That'd be nice, wouldn't it? I'll bring you through the rest of the order a little bit later. We'll say we have Alex Van Gien and Spanners Ready starting in the top 10 for this one. So that's very nice indeed, as it looks like we're about to grid up for the final championship race of the night. Reminder that this is the last race that pays points, 50 points for a reverse grid win. And we are lining up now for the 3rd of 3 races this evening. It will be Peter Schillcock in that number 78 car on pole position, Lucas Raskovitz, that familiar JPS tribute, the black and gold on the front row, John McClintock there in the white number 23 car, Gregory Leader, the chrome, silver and green, and the flash red of Danny Henny. Andy Flagg, the pink car with the rainbow nose, in 6th place. Edward Shelley was on pole position for race 2. He starts 7th. John Langan in 8th. And Alex Van Gien and Spanners Ready. That is your top 10. And of course, after that fantastic last lap pass for the win in race 2, Alexander Dobbelsberger starts in 20th place, as we're about to get underway for the final race of the night. And Peter Schillcock leads the field away, but it looks like Lucas Raskovitz has already bagged himself the lead of the race down the inside into turn 1. Through goes Raskovitz in that black and gold car. Schillcock goes out wide on the exit of turn 1. There's Henny already up into 2nd place. Is he going to be challenging for the lead down into turn 2? You bet he is. Henny could be about to go from 5th to 1st in just 2 corners here, as he goes down the inside and takes the lead of the race. The championship leader has hit the front and, crucially, unlike in race 2, has avoided the dramas and calamities.
This is already a completely different Henny to one we saw last race. He's already looking so calm, so composed. He has taken those opportunities, and I hope this continues for him.
Well, Raskovitz trying to get back around the outside of him, though. He's not phased at all by the championship leader. There was no way through for him at turn 3. Unfortunately, I'll be fascinated to see if he can stick with Henny for the rest of this race, as everybody else is still squabbling away for 3rd place. Peter Schillcock still holding on there from pole position. Andy Flagg has romped up the order in that pink car with the rainbow nose. He's up in 4th place. John McClintock 5th, Leader 6th. Van Gien up to 7th, Shelley in 8th, Spanners Ready in 9th, and Alex Johnsma. That is your top 10 as they make their way around the final 2 corners on this opening lap, which, according to my timing screen, is a 30-minute race rather than to laps, which is interesting. Let me double check. It is set to 13 laps, so it's just my timing screen that is on the fizz there. So apologies for that. Plenty of cars taking to the escape road down at turn 1, but Peter Schillcock in 3rd place is the man who's going to be watching his mirrors as Andy Flagg pulls out of the slipstream and is about to make his way into 3rd place. Around the outside he goes and into the podium places. He was a bit close on the exit there, but he got through nicely. Andy Flagg's been a very quick car all season, very impressive. And we have seen him on the podium just once so far this season, which is a little bit surprising. Hopefully we see him once again, as John McClintock from 5th place has gone a bit wide on the exit of turn 3 through the gravel. He's gone, he's tumbling down the order, down in 13th now. As we see our race 2 winner there, Dobbelsberger, trying to round him up as well. He's going through with David Hatton. So they've made their way through the field cleanly, crucially. And look at Alex Van Gina right up there in 5th place. This has been a very good race for him in these opening 2 laps. Still 11 to go. He's right up there in 5th place at the moment, as behind them, Shelley in 6th place, coming under pressure from Dronsma, side by side into turn 1. You normally don't get 2 cars actually side by side through there for too long, but Shelley was able to hang on to that one, and there's Spanners ready, looking to take advantage of that, as well as is Langen and Gregory behind them. But Dronsma taking to the runoff on the way into turn 2. Avoids the back of Shelley's car, crucially. But could he have a run at him down into turn 3? Certainly looks close enough, and looks towards the inside, shows his nose. Shelley very good on the brakes. We saw him giving a very good defense of that position in race 2. And Dronsma's got to be careful here because he's looking at Shelley, but he's also got to watch out for Spanners behind him. This is the battle for 6th place in the final championship race of the night, race 3 of the round 5 of the Missed Apex iRacing F3 Cup. And Dronsma now looking towards the inside of that penultimate corner, and once again Shelley will not have any of it. Dances around the outside and still defending away for that position and keeping Dronsma at bay. Just in front of them, Alex Van Gien in 5th place. Looks like he's about to make it 4th place ahead of Peter Shilcock. Goes through on the inside, runs wide over the curb though. Now, does he get the slowdown penalty for that, I wonder? He certainly will have compromised his run at any rate, and Shilcock is coming back at him. On the run up towards turn 2. And down the inside, yep, he's still kept the place. Apologies, I saw a flash of Ishmael Basso across my screen while I was watching that, and I wondered what on earth had happened to him. Surely the gold driver points leader has had a drama at some point in this race, because he's now a lap down, unfortunately. But what we were watching there, Van Gien ahead of Shilcock, and Dronsma behind them has made his way into 6th place ahead of Edward Shelley while we were watching that battle. And Shelley has got a train of cars behind him once again. Spanners, Langen, Leader, Dobertsberger, Button, and Boomsma and Ward. There's just a train of them waiting to get through.
Not many opportunities for that to happen, though. I'm just watching Leader, and you know he's trying to get the opportunities, but they're just at the moment not coming for him.
We're with Spanners looking at the back of Edward Shelley's car as he exits that final corner and onto the start-finish straight to start lap 5 of 13. And of course, he's got to be careful any attempt at an overtake he makes. If it doesn't pay off, he will have the pack swarm him. And there's plenty of cars who will do so. There's about 1 second covering about 6 cars as look at Gregory Leader behind them in 10th place, trying to get past Langen. And he's gone around the outside of turn 2. Can he draw alongside? He certainly has. Will he get ahead by the time they get down towards turn 3? Going around the outside in that chrome, silver and green car, and Langen, oh, a shove off the road. He Norrised him. And that unfortunately puts Leader down the pack a little bit, down into 14th place. So Dobertsberger, Hatton, Boomer and Williams all went through there.
I don't want to tempt fate at all, because I'm cautious that sometimes this happens when we talk about Danny Henny. But he just looks so in the zone at the minute, and I think after what we've seen last race and in the sort of in the races we've had before, you know, whether that be at Silverstone, whether that be before that, where he struggled moving through the pack. At the moment, he's stretching away, and he just must be in a moment of like serenity, because there's nothing around him. He can just focus on the track and on making the car go where it needs to go, and all that practice will be paying off right now. And I do hope that we aren't tempting fate here, and he can continue through these next 7 laps just being as chilled as he looks now.
Absolutely, nearly 2 seconds clear of Lucas Raskowitz in 2nd place now, as this battle we've been watching, Shelley and Spanners, has caught up to Peter Shilcock. And so Shelley has gone from the defender to the attacker as he moves past Shilcock down the inside into turn 2. And just in front of them, Alex Dronsma has caught up to the back of Alex Van Geen's car, and he's now looking towards the inside at turn 3. And we know Van Geen is one of the most robust defenders in this field, but Dronsma places his car beautifully on the exit of the corner and drags straight past him by the time they get down to turn 5. So that is Dronsma up into 4th place.
Spanners has just made a move past Shilcock as well. He's now sat on the back of Shelley, and they'll look to sort of tow away from Shilcock a bit, because I'm sure those moves, you know, when you are in a bit of a small group like that, you know, those trains are starting to build, those moves will repeat themselves a bit later on.
Well, they'll be hoping that Shilcock can kind of hold the pack up a little bit, because they've got some very quick cars that will be bearing down on them very soon. Dobertsberger, Boomsma, Williams next in line to get past Shilcock, who started this reverse grid race on pole position. Spanners still looking at the back of Shelley's car, and we saw him have a battle with the Marmite liveried number 33 car in race 2, and they've resumed that battle here in this race 3. As behind them, Brian Boomsma defending his 10th place from Stephen Williams there. Stephen Williams, a race winner earlier this season. Boomsma yet to take that fabled victory, being on the podium, but yet to be on the top step of it, as he's still having to defend from Stephen Williams. And next up in the queue for Boomsma, though, is Shilcock, because Dobertsberger has just gone past him. So I think they'll have to sort themselves out after they make their way through the slower traffic. Oh dear, is that Spanners?
Oh, Spanners, yes, Spanners has just spun out.
Oh, what a shame. We missed the start of it, unfortunately. Not sure if he was running wheel to wheel with Shelley there, but not what we wanted to see at all.
No, that won't be good for Spanners. After, you know, we've seen that confidence build throughout these races, after him coming in a bit cautious, we've seen that confidence build, and, you know, he'll just need to get his head down and try and get back up to where he was.
Shilcock in 8th place there, now at the mercy of Boomsma and Williams. Into turn 1, Boomsma goes through, and Williams looks like he's going to follow him through on the exit of the corner. Oh no, not quite, still got to fight for it with a bit of slipstream. Hatton and Langen and co all waiting in the wings as Hatton, is he going to try and do what he did in race 2 and do the double into turn 2? Well, he certainly had to think about it. It was very, very close. In the end, he just picked off one of them. Saw a bit of contact there just in the back of that shot. Could have been Alex McBride getting himself up on 2 wheels there at the apex of turn 2. As Williams and Hatton now looks like they're going to do a bit of squabbling for 9th place, both past Shilcock now, as is Langen actually. So next car that Shilcock has to worry about is Gregory Leader and Tim Ellis, and then he might finally get some respite, as we're now on lap 8 of 13. But this battle for 9th place between Williams and Hatton, that seems like a good one to watch as any. Let's not forget Boomsma only just a second or so up the road as well. So maybe they'll think about trying to catch up to him before they sort themselves out. There's the way pack racing goes. As soon as you start to squabble, you will fall away from the order, as Langen gets very out of shape out of turn 1 and just about keeps it out of the barriers. But certainly not an ideal corner there, as Hatton now going for that 9th place spot. Down the outside he goes into turn 2. No way through, but is he going to get the undercut and get the better run down this straight? Tucked into the slipstream once again. This is the battle for 9th place between Williams and Hatton. Williams in that Aston Martin green on the inside there. Hatton trying to go around the outside in the Monster Energy car, all the way up on the green AstroTurf, and does not give him the bite he needs out of the corner. There's still no way through for Hatton, the inaugural Formula Challenge champion, who we haven't seen the best of tonight, I think. Yes, he was in 2nd place in that last race, but yeah, the pace has been not quite there. We're much more used to seeing Hatton fighting for victories and podiums in the feature races. Coming across the line now to start lap 10 of 13, so we're into the closing stages of round 5 here. Henny's lead at the front of the field up to 4 seconds now over Lukas Raskovic, who in turn has a second over Andy Flagg. Alex Jonesworth still sitting pretty in 4th place there. Alex Van Gien 5th, and then Shelley and Dobertsberger about to swap place for 6th and 7th there as Dobertsberger makes a tidy little move in the braking zone on the outside of turn 2. Boomsma, Williams and Hatton, that's your top 10 at the moment. Tim Ellis in 11th place, getting a little bit detached from this one now. As Shelley for 6th place. Oh, we really tried to go around the outside there and just met the gravel on the outside of turn 3. And now he's got Boomsma for company, trying to go around the outside of turn 5. That's very, very close. That's Leclerc Perez close, that is, and Boomsma going all the way around the outside. That's fantastic racing there. Full opportunity on that mistake from Edward Shelley. He knew that Shelley would have some debris and detritus on his tyres still from that trip through the gravel. Took full advantage of it, went straight around the outside and is into 7th place. And Williams now looks like he's going to make a move. Pulls out of the slipstream towards turn 1, 3 laps to go. Down the inside he goes for 8th place, and Shelley's got no answer for that. Hatton, the next man in the queue. Now Shelley will benefit from Williams' slipstream here, but Hatton's got the double toe, as it were. And Williams definitely going to have to go defensive as they're 3 wide towards turn 2. And Williams very good on the brakes there, and Hatton sails around the outside. Good driving from the trio there.
They've kind of left Tim Ellis in no man's land at the minute, because they're all charging off and he's just sort of floating between them and sort of looking back. You've got Ward and Batten, and he's sort of just still stuck in the middle there, Tim Ellis.
That seems to be. Now Dobertsberger putting in a late charge, once again closing in on Alex Van Gien for 5th place. We have just 2 laps remaining after this one. Danny Henny is on course to once again make it 2 victories in one night. Now, having said quite a few times now that what a rarity that is, I think we can start to call it a regular occurrence for Mr. Henny, as he's
looking so comprehensive. It's just he's looking so chilled in this race.
Absolutely. Now that battle with Van Gien and Dobertsberger I mentioned is definitely a lot closer now, as Dobertsberger was challenging down the outside into turn 1, but Van Gien held firm on the inside line there. So 2 laps to go, and the question is, can Van Gien hang on to 2nd place? Dobertsberger once again pulls out of the slipstream. Towards turn 2 we go. He's on the inside line in that black and white Ace of Spades car. And gets it. Oh, here shows Van Gien the curb. And I think Van Gien will get the slowdown penalty for that one, and that's going to allow Brian Boomsma through. Little bit naughty there from Dobertsberger, but I think he's fully within his rights. If Van Gien did get a slowdown penalty, he's certainly paying no attention to it. But Boomsma goes through regardless, into 6th place. So Van Gien looking at the back of Boomsma's car now, but perhaps he should be looking over his shoulder for this final lap, as Stephen Williams and David Hatton could well close in on him as well. But meanwhile, Danny Henny comes across the line and starts his final lap of the race, still 5 seconds clear of Lukas Raskovic, who is going to be not only taking a haul of points in his silver championship, but for the overall championship as well. And certainly that man is in need of a promotion to gold driver.
As much as we have been talking about Henny, it is a brilliant performance from Raskovic as well.
Absolutely. Take nothing away from him, and Flagg completing the podium as well. Not for lack of trying, though, from Alex Jonesma, it must be said, who will certainly be taking the gold driver honours in this one with... actually has just put a lap on his title rival Ishmael Basso. That would feel quite nice, I think. Panji not getting too detached from Boomsma and Dobertsberger. So it looks like he will just hang on to that 7th place spot ahead of Williams and Hatton. And what more can we say about Danny Henny as he approaches these final 2 corners? He said he wanted to get one hand on the championship trophy tonight, and he has certainly done so today. And he's on course now for 2 championships in a row. It's victory once again for Danny Henny. Lukas Raskovits, a stunning 2nd place in that fantastic JPS black and gold livery. Andy Flagg completes your podium in that pink car with the rainbow nose. Alex Jonesma in 4th place. Alexander Dobbsberger, another cracking drive from him in 5th. Then it's Brian Boomsma, Alex Van Gene, the top panelist in 7th place. Stephen Williams, David Hatton, and Edward Shelley. That is your top 10. Should we get Henny back in here?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. He'll be chuffed with that.
Well, Danny, I'm going to stop saying that these repeat victories are so rare because you seem to be doing it on the regular now.
To be honest, I got lucky with that one. I just made a really silly mistake at the start of race 2 and looped it round and caused absolute chaos. So it put us in a good position for this race. But race 2 was really hard. Once I'd done the spun, I got hit and it broke my steering. So I was kind of a sitting duck, just praying that I'd finish in the top 20. But yeah, I don't mind winning a couple on a night. It's pretty nice feeling.
All right, well, we've got one more round left, and you're certainly going into it with a healthy margin. So what's the game plan going into the final round?
It's an interesting one because last year I kind of tried to play it safe, and you seen what Boomsma and Luca did. They tried to muster me around, and I had to give them a bit of space, which is a bit awkward because I like to go wheel to wheel. So I'll have a look and see what the points gap is. Obviously, I'll give it full beans in the 1st race, and hopefully it can be done in the 2nd. I'd like to get it done before the end of the season if possible.
Good man. Well, congratulations on another victory, and we'll see you at the final round.
Thanks, guys. Thank you very much. See you later.
Worth mentioning as well that for Lukas Raskovits, I make that his maiden podium in the F3 Cup, or indeed in Mr. Apex motorsport history. So congratulations, Lucas. That is all from us. Ellen and Spanners are going to take you through the fun cup race coming up just in a few moments time. But from me and the Mr. Apex iRacing F3 Cup, that is all for tonight. Thank you very much for watching. My thanks to Steve for the broadcast and to the admins, Richard Molden and Sam Watley. And we'll see you at the next round.
Welcome back. We are into the last race of the night, and arguably this is the one I like the most. This is where we get to have a bit of fun and a bit of a laugh. We are racing in the Miss Apex Motorsport iRacing Cup tonight. This is the fun cup. This is where we get to have a bit of fun and a bit of a laugh. We're racing Formula Vs. Most of these drivers who we have seen absolutely cruise and be professional and have all the fun around these first 3 races probably haven't driven these cars before. We're looking at practice now, and you can probably tell because a lot of them are spinning off and going all over the place. Spanners is with me. Spanners, firstly, how did you find those first few races? I know going into them you weren't 100% confident, but you started to build throughout and you did finish that.
Hey Ellen, yeah, it's one of those tracks where, like I said in the hot lap, I don't think the out and out pace was going to win it. So I just came up with like a race plan, and I practiced doing laps about 6/10 off my fastest, and it kind of worked until I binned it from 7th at the end. Heartbreak. But that won't be the last binning we'll see, because these guys are going to spin in these Formula 3s. They are such a handful. In fact, the safest way to keep it pointing forward is to pin the throttle and never ever let go. You know, once you lift off, the back end starts to go around everywhere.
That sounds like absolute chaos, and that's exactly what I'm here for. Because just watching them go around, you see them spinning already. I think this is going to be a lot of fun to watch.
Race control didn't give them a lot of practice there, did they?
But that's what does that make it slightly more fun for us to watch?
So it could be quite random, but there's people here in this pack that annoyingly just get to grips with any car that they're in. So expect Stephen Williams to be very quick, annoyingly, instantly. And some of the midfielders actually are very adaptable. So the likes of Gower and Batten and perhaps Barry Kemp and John McClintock, who have experience in other forms of racing, might get in and just get comfortable. I assume damage is off because race control normally does that for the fun race.
I think it has to be, doesn't it? I think it has to be. Let them race. Let them race. Let them have some fun.
Otherwise, it just ends. It's like they're just gridding up now. 17 seconds it says on my stream, but I might be a tad behind you today, Ellen.
I think that's just about right.
Here we go then, over to you.
And they are off. This is exactly what we want to see. This is the excitement here. They are charging around. I'm on board with Luca Harrison. Just starting off, seems to be going well. But where are Spanners at this point? Where do you think that the gains are going to be made or lost? Or is it just going to be trying to stay on the tracks, try and stay facing forwards?
It's going to be survival. Right up front, Solon Harrison is having to deal with John Langdon, which he won't have been expecting at the beginning of the race. And who's that they're swarming? Is that Drillsma getting swarmed into turn 3?
Certainly looks like it. Oh, and there we go.
Langdon gone. Who's he taken with him? He's taken Drillsma with him. He's gone. And there's a bit of a car park there at turn 3. Oh, it's the shorter North Circuit, isn't it? So also Luca, I think, got caught up in that. Luca's got caught up in another... I've lost track of who's in the lead, Ellen.
John Lang there, I think, just avoided. I think he was sort of side to side with Luca, wasn't he? And then just looking back, he's safe. John is way safe up front. 3-second gap ahead of the rest of the pack.
I wouldn't like to call that nosebleed territory for John, but it's been a while since he's left the Apex race.
But when it's the Fun Cup, though, anything can happen. So will he stay facing forward?
I'm calling
Does
shenanigans.
he have any more experience?
I'm calling shenanigans because who has just gone into 3rd place, but the person who organised this race, picked the car and the track, Richard Molden, has cruised up into 3rd place. And there's Danny Henney in 4th, followed by Stephen Taylor, the Australian, and Stephen Williams, the young Brit, as well. And Vasco Bittenfield is a complete rookie, was, I would say, somewhat lost in the F3, but stayed out of the way as much as possible in 7th place, just now getting overtaken by Gregory Leader, I think. No, Tim Ellis up into 7th. Now, still a massive gap up to John Lang at the front. So that's actually increased. That's up to 8 seconds now, Ellen.
He's pulling away. He's pulling away incredibly confidently, but I would say maybe come back a bit, John. Come and enjoy the fun.
I was going to say that was Sam Labine in 2nd place.
Can't be that fun up there, can it?
34th, and Danny Henney now. Right, Danny Henney is in a 3-car chain, and there's a 5-car train behind that. So let's see if they can put some pressure on. We've got Henney, Molden, and Kemp fighting for those podium places. But then there's that pack of 5 behind, which is Ellis, Boomsma, Andy Flagg, Stephen Taylor, David Hatton. So all the usual suspects, apart from, well, Stephen Taylor. No disrespect, I was not expecting to see it. And what's happened to Molden? Molden's got tangled up with Barry Kemp. So Molden cheating by picking a track that he would love. Not backfired yet, but yeah, he's in 3rd place. He's managed to survive. So that is Samuel Labine.
Those falling down the order.
Who has?
Kemp, though, who sort of orchestrated that little tussle, is fallen down the order, back down into 9th.
Yeah, so Sam Labine getting out of the way, as that is Brian Boomsma up the inside of Molden. Boomsma absolutely unrelenting in his driving style, and Molden's probably done the smart thing there to just ease out of the way.
I don't want to jinx it, but they do seem to be slightly more chilled at this point. I feel like everyone's kind of found their feet.
Also, we've had a little bit of a kind of natural selection here, haven't we, Ellen? Because, you know, the guys who were going to bin it have, I mean, how many people are on the same lap? I'll answer my own question.
Well, exactly. This is what we're seeing, though, isn't it? This is exactly what we're seeing.
I think it's 32 cars still on the same lap. Oh, Tim Ellis, look, he's got that drag behind Richard Molden. That's the battle to watch at the moment as they go side by side down into the Norris-Perez corner, we're calling it at the moment. Here we go, round the outside. Is he going to hold it? Is he going to hold it round the outside? Ellis, round the outside. Molden locking the brakes up the inside. Oh, Ellis has given him that. But it's a cutback, and he might have another go. Nice little switchback there. Molden not closing the door. I thought they both missed the corner, but this is the shortcut down to the start-finish straight. Ellis down the inside. There's got to be contact.
Oh!
They've locked wheels. They were lucky, Ellen. They completely locked wheels. Like,
this is what I'm saying. I think they're just testing the boundaries, but they're still, I'd say, a lot more confident. You know, we're 6 laps in. Definitely, everyone's looking a lot more stable than they were at the start.
Yeah, and Andy Flagg now is joining that battle, so that's getting really heated.
Andy Flagg absolutely loves a battle in the Fun Cup. Absolutely does. We saw him, was it at Cadillacs last time out? He loves a battle in the Fun Cup.
Yeah, Andy Flagg loves a battle. He's so quick, and he surprises people, plays himself down. But look at that, up the inside of Ellis.
Oh!
He showed Ellis a broadside, and Ellis, well, you have to say he's chickened out again, Ellen.
I mean, when you turn these, you know, when you get the wrong side of them, you will end up a lot further down the pack. So you say he's chicken out. Is he just playing it safe for now?
Well, do you know what? That has been his MO throughout the whole of the Missed Apex season so far. He has been keeping his nose clean to keep himself in the title hunt. But here's Ellis. He's looking at the battle between Molden's come up the inside of turn 2. Molden very, very late on the brakes, and now there's 4 of them in that tussle, and Andy Flagg's benefited. I think Molden just bit off a bit more than he could chew there. Who's in the middle? It's David Hatton in a Molden Ellis sandwich going down to turn 4. This is going to end badly. Oh, well, fair play to all of them. Hatton just gets off the power there and lets Molden carry on. I think Molden's now in 5th place. Andy Flagg is in 4th. Oh yeah, so Boomsma disappeared up the road to chase Danny Henney, and John Lang really has got a handle of these beats. It's not a fluke. Oh, there's a bit of action up ahead? Is that any of our leaders? No, that's Colin Ward. Oh, Brian Boomsma. So Brian Boomsma has had a little incident, but they're a little bit off catching him just now. Oh no, that is Andy Flagg and Brian Boomsma are fighting for the podium place now, Ellen. Sorry about that. Yeah, a little off from Boomsma, and now Flagg is on him.
Oh, there we go. That's probably we're watching the other two charge off. Actually here, Flagg just, oh no. Not quite got enough speed there to get around him.
Had a little look. Mulder did fancy it around the inside, but Ellis just hung it around the outside and kept the speed and kept the momentum. And these engines are not the most powerful in the world, so keeping that momentum up and keeping speed up is key.
Boomsma just keeping the door closed, isn't
And
he?
there's a Mulder's on. Oh, Mulder's gone through the pits. What do we think that's for? Oh, I don't know if there's a drive-through. There's a couple of them in the pits. Well, there's a few going through the pits. So what I think that is incident points, and I think they've accumulated enough incident points to have to go through the pits there.
I'm surprised we aren't all in the pits now at that rate.
Andy Flagg then on the back of Brian Boomsma. And if Andy Flagg has a go, Boomsma will defend his position. Not close enough there, Andy, but shows his nose. That's something racers like to do, isn't it? Just get in the mirror and go, hello, look at my pink race car.
Yeah, especially when your car's that colour, it's if you're sort of lurking in someone's mirrors, it is intimidation tactics, isn't it?
Definitely. And there's a spinner up ahead. I suspect that is a back marker. No name. What I like to call an NPC, Ellen, a non-playable character. I don't care about
them. These are human beings you're talking about, Spanners.
Not anymore. No, they're my deadly rivals.
Not
I've
anymore.
fought so many of them in the Missed FX F3 race. Okay, so up ahead is John Cox. Will be unhappy to find himself a lap down, but blue flags don't mean much in the fun race. So let's see if he gives Tim Ellis a hard time. No, lets him sail down the inside. Does he afford the same to Andy Flagg? No, not really. John did not make that easy.
No. The problem is now they're coming through traffic. This is why when at the moment Andy Flagg is struggling, was before struggling to get ahead and find those opportunities to get round Boomsma. Now the traffic's presenting itself. They're going to struggle even more, isn't he?
Boomsma gets a little squiffy. Boomsma is a young Dutchman. Did one round of Missed Apex Championship with an Xbox controller and a laptop because he was on a family holiday. I wasn't best pleased.
That's dedication though, isn't it? Family holiday, that's dedication. Come on.
Very hard to do it on an Xbox controller.
I think you should applaud the effort.
So we've got a battle brewing here for the top 10, and we've got Alex Drillsma just sailing through. Who's he fighting? It's Vasco Bitenfield as a back marker, but he's fighting very hard. So it's Drillsma and Moreland, Miguel Moreland. Now Miguel Moreland tends to hover in the mid-20s in the F3, but very aggressive. So I don't expect Miguel to give up this position to Drillsma easily. I had a bit of a fight with Drillsma in the F3 race as well. I made it quite hard for him, but in the end I was like,
sure, you did just yield to him?
Yeah, I didn't. I fought for a bit, and then I was like, right. But I shouldn't have done. I lost out by letting him go through in the end.
That's the challenge, isn't it?
And he's struggling now. He's struggling now to get by Miguel. And you can tell, when people are downshifting too early, we should have warned people. You really can blow your engine up in these. If you suddenly go from third to second, the engine will blow. It looks like
Boomsma's just had a little bit of contact, I think, with one of the back markers. I think he's done too much damage to lead over Flagg, but you just see him just have a little bit of contact, just to float up in the air a bit and back down, and he'll keep charging forwards. It's going to be difficult for him to get up to Henny at this race, or at this rate. I'd say nigh on impossible, but definitely. Well, I mean, you never know what can happen. There could be. Well, I mean, they're so far clear, they're not going to have... You'd think they probably wouldn't have contact to be having sort of wheel-to-wheel battles, but you never know. But
And
yeah.
that flag up the inside there of the same car that Boomsma had contact with. That's 65-year-old Peter Shilcock. He's from the north.
Let's slag off the north, please, Spanners.
And didn't slag it off, did I? I just said he's from the north. It's not slag.
No, but I wouldn't say, there's a lot of the north. I wouldn't say, you can't just
No,
say your
they're
identical
all
Bible
the same.
teacher is from the north.
Brian Booms. Apologies if I was sending any course commentary back on occasion when I was speaking to Ellen there. But I'm looking at Brian Boomsma trying to find his way through the back marker. Stephen Williams finds himself down in 19th place. Sometimes I keep looking at these cars and thinking the race has ended, but it's just that the car I'm looking at is struggling to accelerate out of a corner. And up the hills, they're all but stopping. Oh,
It
let's
is
have
a bit of a gear change, isn't it?
Yeah, it's definitely a change there. But let's have a look at Molden struggling down in 15th place. But there is still fight there because he's having to fight his way through Garen Batten with Gregory Leader just up the road. And that is Luca Harrison that he's chasing. So where's Luca? Luca's just ahead of Molden. They're a lap down. The leaders, I think, are somewhere near them. Where's John Lang? Ah, that's it. So that is John Lang.
Just ahead, yeah.
Oh, I thought Molden and
ahead.
Harrison were lapping someone, but that is the leader, and they're fighting him.
Yeah.
And in fact, there's been contact. John Lang's been hit by one of those guys up there. In fact, it was Harrison, so they've made contact.
This is exactly what I'm saying with the fact that, we are getting, we're in the business end, but there is still opportunities, maybe for the likes of those a bit further back to capitalise on, Lang, Henny, struggling to get through these back markers if, like Luca, they try and put up a bit of a fight.
Well, that gap is down to 7.5 seconds now to the front, and it was significantly higher than that. So certainly Lang has struggled here, getting past Molden.
Yeah, he's dropped about 2 seconds there. 2 more gone now. He's gone from a 9-second buffer down to a 5-second buffer.
Wow, then. So that is Luca Harrison behind John Lang, and John Lang is struggling to get past Alexander Dobitzberger in 14th and Richard Molden in 13th. Here comes John Lang diving down the inside of the Perez-Norris corner. Oh, he's holding a great line there, and he gets past Molden, but let's see if Molden gives that up or keeps fighting. It's a little bit looser with the blue flags in the fun races. Oh, back up the inside. I thought they were going to dive down left, and in fact, a car has got a couple of cars have taken the road to the left. That's not the track, guys. Oh, that's a pit stop. That's the pit stop, right? I see. So Dobitzberger certainly not giving the leader. Oh, 5 seconds, Ellen. It's 5 seconds back to Danny Henny.
Yeah, this is exactly what I'm saying. That gap is closing down to 4 now. It's getting smaller and smaller. And I'm just trying to figure out where Henny is amongst all this traffic. He's not, in reality, there were quite a few cars between them, but he's not that far behind. I can't see, Andy Flagg making up the distance here and, coming up, but on, causing damage to Henny right now or to Henny's lead. But again, that's me going back on my own words. Literally anything can happen when you're in the Formula Vs. But yeah, that gap between John Lang and Henny, I mean, we've seen Henny come back from a lot worse.
Oh, the race is 20 minutes. And I don't know if anyone's got the timer.
We've got a minute and a half.
Minute and a half left. Oh, there's a spinner on track. That is, I can recognise that livery.
Unbelievable.
But it's 4 seconds and a minute and 15 seconds left of this race. Is that enough for Danny Henny to get up to John Lang? There's a huge pack up ahead. I believe that's Mike Stoner up ahead, Richard Molden, Solon Harrison, that's Luca Harrison, John Lang and Alex Dobitzberger, all harassing the leader, John Lang. And it's 3.1 seconds now.
At 3.1 seconds and less than a minute now to go. It's not looking likely, but you never know. You never know.
It's coming down quick, and I assume what happens is at 20 minutes the flag comes out and the leader will finish the lap that they're on. And we're having a bit of a disagreement. Our race control thinks that there's 3 minutes left, and I hope they're right. But we'll just.
I hope there are. I'd love to see this battle continue. Okay,
so what we've got John Lang a little bit clear now, and it's Danny Henny who's going to have to make his way through Dobbitsberger and Malden. And who's that Lang's got ahead? I think that is the rookie Vasco Beitsfeld. Brittensfeld.
Yes, that's Vasco ahead.
Right, again, here we go. So Danny Henny had an easier time past Malden. And let's see how he gets on against Dobbitsberger. I'm not sure how much toe you get, but he certainly seems to have made it up down the straight. This should be easy. This should be job done. Oh, and up ahead there's a spinner, and that's the rookie Vasco. And he's ended the challenge. And I'll tell you what, Vasco took out Danny Henny in qualifying, nearly wiped him out of the lead in race 1, and has now cost him the chance of fighting for the fun race win. There won't be a Christmas card being sent that way, I don't think.
No, especially when that lead had got that gap had got so much smaller. It was so close.
He's off the hook. Yeah, still in second place there, but a long way back. Andy Flagg having a bit of fun trying to get through Stephen Williams and David Hatton. Both very tough competitors, but of course they are a lap down as Vasco serves his drive-through penalty, which I'm assuming he's got accumulating many points.
Those incident points, they do rack up when you're driving these cars.
I did have a chat with it's hard to come into a series like this where everybody is bang on it and knows themselves, and fair play, Vasco did have a back and forth with me saying, just keep your nose clean and you'll gain a lot of places next time maybe. And here comes Andy Flagg, and he's right behind Stephen Williams. I do love how these cars can follow, and he's gonna make a move down the inside. Stephen Williams trying to hang it round the outside and hold on, Perez-esque, but no, in the end the shortest route with these slower cars seems to win out. So Andy Flagg ahead, and that is Brian Boomsma in 4th place. So at some point Andy Flagg has got ahead of Boomsma. Boomsma must have had a bit of an incident as a smoking car putters away ahead, and Boomsma's coming back at Andy Flagg. Down the inside, looks like he's going to make that one stick. Andy Flagg's going to fight it down round the outside, uses the sausage curb to usher himself back on. And this is it. This is the last lap. So this is the final battle. This is for the podium, Ellen.
Just another tussle has just happened, and I think Vasco's involved again.
Well, for now, let's park that and see how Brian Boomsma and Andy Flagg get on. There's contact. Danny Henny has closed the gap on the leader. Danny Henny, he's up the inside. He's going to nick this on the very last corner. He's round the outside. John Lang, he makes contact. That is a really rough way to seal the win, but it's worked. And Danny Henny gets collected by Garen Batten for good measure. I don't know if Danny can pick that up for second place, but Andy Flagg has also been involved in some kind of tussle as well. Or is that just, that's post-Flagg shenanigans? But Andy Flagg has ended up, I think, in 5th place or in 3rd. Blimey. Pick that one out, Ellen.
How heartbreaking for Henny after being caught up in that tussle where he was making so many gains so quickly and just charging ahead from, when we'd mentioned that it might not happen for him, to then come back for that, be so close, literally wheel to wheel, and lose it all in literally the final seconds. And is heartbreaking.
The podium place was decided, that battle. They were tussling, they were fighting very fairly around the last corner, but found a spinning David Hatton in the middle of the track. And Boomsma initially got the worst of the hit, but Andy Flagg went around, and Boomsma's picked up, I think, the podium. No, do you know what? Tim Ellis has come from no. I don't know. What's the finishing order, Uncle Steve? I'm pretty sure it was John Lang from Danny Henny, then Brian Boomsma. Well, there we go. It looks like Tim Ellis came from nowhere. We weren't really tracking Tim Ellis, were we there?
No, he came out of nowhere, but again, just capitalised. But this is the thing, when Henny started making those gains, weren't expecting him to, and he just, similar situation, just sort of came out of nowhere. But wow, what an end to the race, and what an end to the whole of proceedings today.
Well, thanks for keeping us company here on the airwaves, Ellen, and thanks for letting me jump in the comms box to enjoy the fun race with you.
Always a pleasure.
I will say good night now here at Missed Apex. Thank you to everyone who joined us on the stream, and thank you to anyone catching this in the post-edited version of it. Tell your friends that Missed Apex goes racing, and it's fun. If you want to get in touch with us, it is feedback@missedapex.net, or you can join the grid by emailing racecontrol@missedapex.net. From me, from Ellen, from Chris Stevens, from Uncle Steve behind the camera, and all the racers at Missed Apex. Until we see you next time, work hard, be kind, and have fun. This is Missed Apex iRacing.